Ladies and gentlemen, some of you may not be aware that over-the-counter drugs like Imodium AD contains opioids. I did a video on this probably way back in 2016. You know, when I came on the scene, Tareen Rain and myself, we probably did the most videos on opioids back then. And I did a video on this. It got so bad with the Imodium AD, they had to put it behind the counter so people would ask for it instead of grabbing it right off of the shelf because so many drug addicts were coming in there, not only to buy it, but to steal it too. So if you take enough Imodium AD, it gives you the same effect of taking an opioid pill. So, this is nothing new at all. So this came out in USA Today, January 19th, 2020. There's a growing problem in the opioid fight, diarrhea medication. Okay. So again, this is nothing new. They're just happen to be talking about this right now. Imodium AD is the brand name of loperamide, a drug that, if taken in gigantic quantities, can produce an opioid-like high and present serious dangers to a person's health, like your heart problems, serious heart problems can come from this. I had no idea this was a problem, but apparently it's nothing new. It definitely is nothing new. According to U.S. News and World Report, the U.S. National Poison Data System reported a 90% spike in loperamide overdoses between 2010 and 2016. And I think a few people have died from taking massive amounts of Imodium AD, trying to get high and get that opioid high-like feeling. Abusing the drug can naturally lead to horrific constipation, but it can also wreak havoc on your heart, usually through irregular heartbeats, the New York Times reported in 2016. Back then, overdose deaths had reportedly occurred in at least 5 states. Most physicians just recently realized loperamide could be abused, and few looked for it, the story read. There is little, if any, national data on the problem, but many toxicologists and emergency department doctors suspect it is more widespread than scattered reports suggest. A 2019 paper out of Rutgers University confirmed that. It said that loperamide fatalities have spiked over the last few years. All that has finally caused the FDA to step in. In September, the agency announced it would limit Imodium AD, Imodium multi-symptom relief, and B Health loperamide HCI capsules, as well as their generic offshoots, to 48 milligram package per package, or about 24 capsules per box. The maximum daily dosage is 8 milligrams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they can do all of this repackaging and making packages smaller and all that stuff. But the bottom line is there's no limit on how much they can buy online. They don't have to. You're just banking on the fact that they're going to go in a pharmacy, but technically these folks don't have to go near a pharmacy. You can go on Amazon and eBay right now, and somebody is selling this stuff, and you can just buy it. The abuse of loperamide continues in the United States, and taking higher than recommended doses can cause serious heart problems that can lead to death. Acting FDA Commissioner Ned Sharpless said in the release, the FDA isn't going to come crashing through pharmacy windows if stores don't follow those guidelines. So what they're saying is their guidelines are really voluntary out here for local pharmacies. So they don't have to follow anything if they don't want to. They can just throw this stuff up on the shelf and it can be grabbed and bought or stolen out of the store. So they got the guidelines there. That's what they're saying, but it's really up to these pharmacies to, whether they want to enforce it or not. It don't look like they care that much about these opioid addicts being high out here. Battling dirty looks from pharmacy workers and customers alike, I scooped out I scoped out several stores around Evansville. Okay, I think that's Indiana, I believe that's where Evansville is. This week and found a variety of anti-diarrhea displays. Some kept Imodium locked in clear glass plastic cases. They're in glass cases here where I am. There's certain things that they put in those cases because people steal, those products so often they have to keep them behind the counter. So if you come here, you're going to see it locked up behind the counter. Others sport cage-free boxes that held as much as 96 milligrams per package. I suppose you could rant about how all this is a sign of a deteriorating culture. I can't even buy diarrhea medication anymore without feeling like a drug addict. The saddest part for me, though, is that people feel they have to resort to this. I hope, however, left those crumbled boxes behind can find the help they need to kick their addiction. And they don't want to kick their addiction. They don't. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing new. I remember doing stories on the Imodium AD back in 2016. You know, these folks, they just want to be high. They don't care if it's through over the counter drugs or through illegal drugs on the street. They want to be high on these opioids. And, like I said, I had no idea Imodium even had opioids in it until I did an article and it just pretty much broke down that there are drugs out here you may not even be aware that contains opioids. They just don't tell you at all. And sometimes reading the box does not indicate that there's opioids there, but there are opioids there. So, y'all, this is just another sign that the drug addiction has gone nowhere. This is now going on 21 years of an opioid plague in America, and you see no end in sight. These addicts are just finding more creative ways to be high out here. And they don't care what they got to resort to. If they got to take anti-diarrhea medication to feel that buzz, then so be it. That's what they're going to do, you know? And it's so many of these addicts out here, deep down inside, they know they can't control this. It's way more people taking these opioids and heroin and all this stuff out here than ever in this country's history. Do you know I had a troll come and told me I'm lying about these opioid stories I'm putting out? There were more people dying in the 60s and 70s on heroin than opioids today. That's a bold-faced lie. Maybe you're trying to find a way to make yourself feel good, but if that's what you think, you have failed. That tells me you have not researched this opioid plague at all. You're just running your mouth, and that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me what you think. This is just one more obstacle that America got to worry about in this opioid plague that's going on. You know, um, when I went into the pharmacy and the lady was telling me, this was years ago, she said they have the display case with products back there because those are the products that are stolen the most out of the pharmacy. And some of it is crazy. It's like toothpaste and deodorant. I was like, they still Well, I guess some people do, you know? I mean, they even have this stuff behind display cases in your dollar stores too because they steal certain products so often. So, the Imodium is just one more thing. Please tell me what you think. Peace, family.